What's going on, Nerds Nation? I'm back. Thank you to everyone who purchased me as Day One DLC for the latest Electronic Arts game. Matt, you spent more than $1. You bought me a couple times, though. I really appreciate that.
I had to get the different skins.
I had to get Chameleon Trevor.
And Watermelon beard.
And
Build.
Nintendo Trevor that we currently have.
Yeah.
It's funny how Electronic Arts and Nintendo sort of went together, but you know what? Both of which hate YouTubers, so...
Hey.
So yeah, welcome to the show, ladies and gents. Shall we get into it?
Yes, we shall. So, first on the docket today, guys, we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok. We're going to weigh in on how we thought the movie was, and yeah. So,
This was a little surprising because all of us, all of us went and watched the movie. My friend sort of grabbed me and said, we're going to watch Thor Ragnarok. And I'm like, okay, cool. And this was last night.
Perfect.
Normally, we only have like 2 people that have seen the content. One person has no clue what the hell is going on. But we are unified in our nerditry.
Nerds Unlimited Powers
Form the
activate.
Triforce.
www. And so let's jump into Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, so I thought the movie was absolutely hilarious. Like, from start to finish, there was not a moment where I didn't have a big grin on my face. Right? So yeah, Thor Ragnarok, great movie. You know, came out, when did it come out? November 3rd? 4th?
3rd and 4th.
Give or take.
Yep,
Yeah.
3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th for the people who bought tickets on time.
Yep. As you can see in the poster, it had tons of great people in the movie. Wow, I had a great time.
My complaint with it was I thought that the villain was defeated rather easily.
Yes.
It was like, they're like, oh, we're losing, get Sota! And they're like, okay! And Loki runs away and he's like, okay, put the helmet in the flame.
Be
and then
careful.
run.
But the entire thing, I'm sitting there going, all right, that's fine that you went through that option. But considering you spent the entire time building up to how much of a badass the main villain was, and just that have them go out like that, you're just sitting there going, I kind of wanted it to be more cathartic, more epic than how it was.
I didn't want her to die. I wanted to see her in more Marvel.
Yeah. She would have been a great returning villain.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been cool to see, because Thanos in the comics goes after Death, and seeing him, because she's the goddess of death and they're not doing death as far as we know, having Thanos try to court her like he does in the comics. Be like, oh, hello, like, I wiped out a whole star system for you. And her be like, that's nice. I'm the daughter of Odin. I deserve the throne.
Thanos and the goddess of death would have gotten together like a house on fire. Like, that would have been an ultimate pairing. And the thing that I did want to mention, so in the movie, spoiler alert, Sir Anthony Hopkins, his character of Odin, quote unquote, passes away. I say quote unquote because when it comes to comics, like, they've had parts where it's like it's secretly Loki or it's a bait and switch type of situation. But I honestly think that Odin is dead in this interpretation of it. Primarily because Sir Anthony Hopkins has been in film for an incredibly long time. I think it was a touching way for him to walk off into the sunset and for him to necessarily say, you know, this is probably going to be one of my last movies. Thank you to everyone who supported me, and I'm going out as Odin on camera, and then I'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
That was very well done. Did anyone catch the Matt Damon cameo?
Yes, I thought that was awesome.
The
right?
Matt Damon cameo.
Yeah, Matt Damon was
he
in the
plays
movie. He plays Loki.
Thor. No, Loki. Yeah, who was the one that? Oh no, it was one of the other Hemsworth brothers that plays Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a third Hemsworth.
Oh, right.
And in that scene when they're doing the whole play, I was like, that looks like Matt Damon.
Yeah.
That looks like him. And when you look at the credits, he's not even in the credits.
Yeah.
He's like a non-accoladed cameo, I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah.
So I was dying. I thought it was funny, and I love that scene too, where you see Thor looking at Loki, and he's like, "Huh," and you see like as soon as Thor shows up, Loki's like, "Shit," he's like, "Oh."
But
Right?
in the concept of filmmaking, there is a principle that is known as Chekhov's gun. When it comes to filmmaking, the principle is if you show a gun on screen, it has to go off. It can't just be for auxiliary purposes. And so the entire time I'm sitting there waiting for the part where we get to see Hulk Dick. And we did, and I was honestly and thoroughly disappointed.
See Matt, like, where's the big green cucumber?
Yeah, come on. I'm not even gay, and I'm just sitting there going, no, it's an incomplete movie. You hinted at it.
Yo, Thor's face though when it happened,
yeah.
he's just like, oh, you just okay, this is happening.
This is
it's right there.
This is a thing that is happening now.
He's just like totally trying to avoid the thing. Like,
It would have been funny if he was like, Hulk, have hammer. Where's Thor hammer?
oh man, all of that movie was just hilarious. Korg was hilarious. I loved him as a character.
He was not bad.
Bye, new Doug.
Bye, new dog.
There were
So quick look at this picture, guys. If you notice, they've actually introduced them before.
Yeah.
Right? So in Thor Dark World 2, he was in there. They had like a whole race of the stone characters, which was pretty awesome. However, because it wasn't really like no one really talked about it, they were able to take the character, revamp him, throw it into the World War Hulk segment of this movie, right? Which was
Really
he
well
was hilarious.
the important thing to point out with this version, Thor Ragnarok, is the tone and shift from all the other ones. Like it's always had somewhat of a bleak and dark sort of gritty vibe, and this one did have stakes in it, but it was a completely different tonality wise. It was much more upbeat, much more funny. I was not expecting how funny this movie was going to be. I was not expecting how amazing Jeff Goldblum was going to be in this movie. I was like, there were so many things that I was just honestly not expecting. And I'm sitting there going, bravo.
Yeah.
This has been one of the best ideas since they decided to ditch Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah.
I liked his post-credit scene too. He's like, "Oh, good job with the rebellion, guys. Well, you know, you can't have a rebellion without someone to rebel against. So you're welcome."
Yeah.
We're just gonna call it a draw. His character was
Thor
awesome.
losing his eye too, because in the scene where he lands on the bridge, I forget the name of it at the moment, it's escaping.
Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road.
We'll call it Rainbow Road.
When he lands on the final level of
Rainbow
Mario
Road.
Kart,
Yes.
and he's getting passed by Luigi and Toad. In the trailer, you see he has both eyes; they're both lit up. But in the movie, spoiler alert, he goes full Odin and loses it.
Yeah.
I think it looks badass,
And it's called the Bifrost.
Bifrost. Thank you.
No, Bifrost, not Bifrost. Bifrost.
Bifrost.
Bifrost.
Bifrost.
Bifrost.
I'll take it.
Nico want to go bowling.
Yes.
So
Nico
all in all, we thoroughly enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. It's an awesome movie, and I recommend that you guys go and see it. Moving down.
Wait. I have a couple more pictures we got to talk about here, man. Because, like, first off, we had this one talk about how.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. You haven't been here for a Marvel movie review. It goes on forever with AJ because he loves Marvel.
But we have a consistent narrative flow.
And we could still throw in a couple more little bits here. We got this, okay? Hold a minute. Look at that picture of Loki, okay? I'm sorry, Tom Hiddleston, you could be our next James Bond. Look at that shit.
Okay.
He looks, come on, he looked pretty badass in the suit.
He looks badass in the suit, but it doesn't change the fact that when I see Tom Hiddleston in that suit, all I think is Slytherin. So
He would be a great Snape.
He would be. There we go. If we're recasting
Young Snape.
Dude,
Young
young
Snape.
Snape.
Young Snape.
Well done.
Do the story of his coming. He can make it happen. Right? How he became a teacher and all lead up to it.
Idris Elba.
I know. Speaking, man, I should have brought a picture of this guy here because he looked boss.
Killed
Yes.
in this
Oh
movie.
man, the dreads and everything like that. I love that. I love how he was able to make his eyes, or like make Thor see through his eyes. At
Oh,
one
yeah.
point. That was sick.
Oh yeah.
I also love there's a meme out there. I wish I would have saved it and put it in the docket, but it's like there's the protector of Asgard, and above it it's Thor. And above him is a Thor, and it's Idris Elba killing someone.
Or what's his face? What was his name? The Executioner.
Yes.
Scourge? I'm just the janitor. So many good puns and cracks in this movie.
The Warriors 3 was killed off too easily as well.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I didn't like that because these guys are supposed to be hella strong, man.
Oh yeah. By this point in time, they had already used the Warriors 3, and there wasn't really there wasn't really any payoff for
Yeah.
them. Like they were just underutilized characters. The same goes for Natalie Portman in the previous movies. Hear me out. Natalie Portman was fantastic in V for Vendetta. A strong-willed, badass. I've been through hell and I'm not going to take shit
To be
anymore.
fair, though, she did have a phenomenal main character actor. Like, even though I guess she would be the main, the secondary character was probably the best type of character you can have as a second.
It still felt like Natalie Portman was condemned to the role of damsel in distress, that she wasn't utilized as well as she could have been. It felt like a less useless version of Padme from the original, like the prequels of the Star Wars
That's
movies.
fair. That's fair. However, though, that girl is supposed to be the anchor to Midgard, right? So that's why.
We're not calling it Earth this episode? Okay.
Yeah, I said Midgard. You're all talking about Thor. Might as well
We're
use the
talking
proper
in
term.
Norse this issue?
You know,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
now, before we continue on, I have
Yes.
one more picture I have to talk about because holy crap, Tessa Thompson. Oh,
Did you see the picture of
Sombra's new skin looks really badass. don't
she
you think?
was so hot in this movie, man. You know that one scene where you see her grab the machine gun, she like did that little wiggle. I was like, ooh, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ooh, it was great. Man, I was loving it, man. The whole movie. She was
I
great.
think you missed part of the joke or whatever, but I said she looks like Sombra.
No, I was too busy in awe because Valkyrie was like,
No, the
spear
moment,
me with your swords.
Yeah. The moment I saw her, I'm just like, wow, Sombra got some really nice costumes post the Halloween events.
That would be a pretty good costume. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
there you go, guys.
Did you notice the whole cast of Creed? Because I don't know if you guys watched it or not. The Rocky sequel is now in the MCU. Tessa Thompson,
You're right. Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan,
Sylvester
and
Stallone.
Fly.
Oh yeah.
Just waiting for Apollo to get cast as someone.
That's it.
So something interesting happens whenever I watch movies. I basically become the peanut gallery. I'm absolutely horrible because I will make fun of anything and anything the moment the joke enters my head. Before watching Thor Ragnarok, I saw a trailer for Black Panther. I shut up completely the entire way through. Like, it was dead silence. I'm sitting. So my entire crew is I'm sitting next to a improv comedian who works with the 404s. To the right of me is like a 300-pound karate master and another friend of mine, and they're just sitting there. They take one good look at me and they're like, Matt, stop talking. He stopped talking.
Wow. It must have been an awesome trailer for you. Eh?
Oh my god, I can't wait for Black Panther. That is something that honestly is the weirdest thing I can say. Yeah, I'm perfect. It's not since the 70s that I've been amped up for the Black Panthers.
Wait. Oh man. All right. So now that we have said our piece, what'd you guys rate it out of 10? Let's go.
I'm gonna go last.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go last.
I think ratings are an arbitrary thing. I just say see it.
Okay, fine. Top 5. Do you place in your top 5 Marvel movies? Consider we have like 30 by now.
Yeah, I would be safe to say it would be within the 5.
Definitely top 3 for me.
I
Okay.
would put it at 6.
Okay.
The sole reason is I feel like Marvel, it's the same formula over and over and over and over again. It works, but I feel like sometimes I'm watching the same movie.
It depends on what you're going with, because like it did hit from the heart. There was a very brief thing involving who your father is and things like that. But if you take the tonality of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which had some similar themes, and then switch it to Thor
Terrible
Ragnarok,
similar themes.
yeah, terrible similar themes. And you bring in Thor Ragnarok and compare them. While they do have similar motives, the execution of those are completely different.
I give credit to Taika Waititi. I think he did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
I'm starting to feel like I'm gonna be probably the first person to openly say something. I feel like Marvel's getting bland for me.
Okay.
I feel like I get it. I'm always excited. I'm always giddy, and I'm like, okay. It feels like it's the same story over and over again.
I can see where
But
you're
you know
getting
what?
at.
It's like the wheel's not broken. Don't fix it. I get it. Like
Yeah.
keep it rolling as long as you can. But I feel like I'm not the only one with this opinion.
No, you're not.
You're not. Movie Bob, aka Dave Movie Bob Chipman, has brought up the idea of how, as a society, we are getting more and more stale to the concept of superhero movies. That the movie Logan was actually a metaphor for how the rest of Hollywood is getting tired of this, especially Hugh Jackman, bringing him wanting to retire Wolverine in that picture. So the idea is that way, but I think it also boils down to who you are as a person, because there's plenty of people out there who think that Marvel is still going strong. There will be movies that will test the limits of our fandom. And when they hit, just like with old Hollywood, movie styles will change, and we'll have to usher in a new generation that will completely replace what we've known as comic book movies for the past, decade, longer than that.
Well, that's actually perfect you say that, because speaking of possibly new segue,
the amount of excitement for this, if it happens.
If it happens, it'd be great, because this could usher in exactly that new feel that we're hoping to get with the comic book industry, comic book industry.
Yes.
Disney. Get it?
Disney.
I'm back, bitches. And I've killed Matt with a bad pun. Disney's trying to buy Fox, and that's humongous.
Well, not just Fox, 21st Century Fox.
Like,
Good Fox.
Good Fox. So,
Good Fox.
this could be huge for us, because not only will we possibly get a good X-Men movie, but we can have a good Fantastic Four movie, finally.
but whoa. Avengers 5 could be Avengers vs. X-Men, which is one of the biggest comic book crossovers ever.
We will see, because once again, there have been movies that have tested the limits of fans' patience. For example, the Fantastic Four movies. I moaned and groaned.
Which one?
All of them.
The last one they released, there was 3 movies in one. So
I did not watch at all that last one.
Okay.
That was very terrible.
the consistency of that movie is so bad that Sue Storm has 3 haircuts.
Yeah.
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 And there's like 2 different colors in it. Like,
Because of the reshoots, unfortunately.
The best part about this, though, guys, is if we get to this point where they actually do own the X-Men franchise, like the MCU version, you can actually have Scarlet Witch be like, "Oh yeah, so Magneto's my dad."
Yeah.
Wait, what?
and Hugh Jackman's come out and been like, "Hey, I'm open to being Wolverine again if this happens." And then like it's just old man Logan in the MCU,
Which could be sick, because then we can have the Uncanny Avengers, which can have an older Captain America, which he's kind of going older now, right? You have Deadpool, right? You have old man Logan, Rogue, right? And I think, who's the other person? There's one more person I can't name off the top of my head, and it's killing me. I want to say Spider-Man.
we can do the Spider-Man Deadpool crossovers.
Totally
which are
can.
Amazing.
Oh, which would be perfect, especially with like Tom Holland and Ryan Reynolds. Ooh, that'd be so funny.
We'll see.
But I think one of the biggest things too is we can finally have the Illuminati.
I'm sorry, what?
Marvel has an Illuminati, right?
Yeah.
And it's made of like
4 of the smartest people in the MCU.
Okay.
Arguably.
actually, not just 4, 6.
It's 6? I thought it was just the 4.
No, you got actually I think closer to 7. So you have Professor X, Mr. Fantastic, Black Panther. Actually, Black Panther walks out because he's like, I don't want to be a part of this. Iron Man, Namor, right? Doctor Strange,
Oh shit.
right?
it
And
was just-
Black Bolt.
I thought it was just Bolt.
Bolt, Strange, Xavier,
in Iron Man. Those
Tony
are the 4 I thought
Stark.
through there.
Wait, I just lost my count.
You said
Bolt,
7.
Strange, Tony Stark.
Namor.
Bolt, Strange, Tony Stark, Namor, Xavier. There is everybody. A Black, Amadeus Sho's in there too. I did not know that Amadeus Show, which would make perfect sense why he's part of it. He is probably the smartest, youngest mind in all of MCU.
Okay.
He's also the Hulk.
Yep. He's also in the cartoon version of Ultimate Spider-Man. He becomes the the Iron Spider.
Oh.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
So have we moved on from Thor Ragnarok?
Oh, we were past that now. We're going to
Okay.
go into the DC.
So do you guys want to talk about Gal Gadot's comments, or do you want to save that for the other things?
I feel like we should just add that on. Well, what we'll talk about for DC is just Justice League.
in 4 days.
4 days, but stop selling us trailers, man.
Stop
wanna
watching them.
It's hard.
So
They're there.
I
Do it
was
to
given
yourself.
a trailer for the new Justice League movie.
Which one?
The one that feels awkwardly cut. It's the one for Mercedes Benz. The one that
Haven't
does
seen it.
yeah.
I
So
haven't watched it.
they have
watched
a
it yet.
advertising campaign with Mercedes Benz, and it's just like it's
Clark Kent on a bicycle.
No, pretty much. It shows like Batman, and it shows using his jet. It shows Aquaman under the water, the Flash using his super speed, and it's like all these people don't really need cars to get around, or maybe not. And it shows Wonder Woman getting out of a Mercedes Benz, and I'm like,
Wow.
can you fucking not?
She
Product
has an
placement.
invisible jet. How does she poo in that, by the way?
Well, remember they've got
You guys
rid
are
of
like been up to here without me, and then I'm back, and it's like,
Yeah,
you're
you
back down to my
Thank you. You're lowering the bar so much to the point Stephen Hawking will be able to dunk over it.
Speaking of which, that's pretty bad, actually.
The invisible laboratory.
Oh man. Oh, so
Turning
yeah.
point.
So Justice League, you excited for it or what?
I am, and it's funny because I work with Mr. J, and he's like, every time I come to work, he's like, dude, new Justice League clips, and I'm like, don't watch
Yeah.
it.
He
And he's
just-
like watching it in the corner, like behind the counter, like in the
Like Golem?
He doesn't realize I have long arms, so like just hit his home button on his phone and turn it off. And like, no, no.
Yeah, man. He in that group chat that we have, man. He's sending way too much information for us that every time I'm looking at it, I'm like, fuck Justice League.
He's so excited though.
Damn, man,
And,
I
like,
can't.
I feel like it's gonna be a good DCEU movie, and it's about damn time that they have 2 hits in a row.
It's funny though, because have you noticed that now the rumors that are coming up, or at least like the posts and stuff like that, like Comic Book News is posting talking about Zack Snyder actually sought out Josh Whedon to finish this movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay.
Once again, this is still.
Everyone knows how much I don't like Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
There's 2
But if
Snyders
this
you
is
can get,
true, this is true.
But once
then
again,
thank you.
you have the incredibly dark visual narrative that is Zack Snyder, and then mixed with the more punchy, dialogue-heavy, world-building stuff of Josh Whedon. It's kind of, it doesn't go. It feels like. Give me a second. Steven Spielberg and oh my god, this is gonna drive me
George
nuts.
Lucas?
No, not George Lucas. He did 2001: A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick. So when Stanley Kubrick wanted to make AI, he sat there and he's like, "It's going to be too dark. I want Steven Spielberg to do it for me because he does that whimsical stuff." And like Steven said, I don't feel in the mood for it because once again, this is a very dark story as well. I wouldn't be able to do it justice. And then Stanley Kubrick died, and he's like, "I'm doing this to finish it for my friend." And so it's AI did not turn out well because there were parts in it that it's just like it should have ended right here, or there are parts where it's really bleak here and really optimistic and it can't pick a tone. That's something that I'm worried about with the Justice League movie because you have Zack Snyder and then he's passing it over to Josh Whedon, and I'm like, I don't know what exactly he'd be able to do if he completely changes the entire development of the movie, or if he just does little patch jobs that he can. So
What I heard is the consensus was of this movie was it looks like a Snyder movie, but sounds like a Whedon movie.
okay,
Which, like,
That could be good.
and we got to give Zack Snyder this. He might have been a bad director and not the greatest at times. He's very hit or miss. But his shots, for the most part, are very visually stunning and can affect people in ways.
Yes.
And the fact that they got, sorry, what?
Hey man, I hate to do this, and I'll be very brief. Kelly, I know you hate when I bring this up. Batman v Superman was a visually stunning movie. I enjoyed the action sequences in the movie. The story was shit. Moving on.
Yeah.
That is it.
And I feel like
That's all.
if they could make a perfect combo, I feel like
Yeah.
those two together are that perfect combo.
They
if
could
that makes
bring
sense.
a
It's like
whole-
getting. It's like you don't think that like when you go to Wendy's, dipping your fry in a Frosty's good, but it's surprisingly good.
no, I do that all the damn time.
Right?
Yeah. Form of steam, Wonder Twin powers. So
It's gonna be a brothel.
a brothel?
Wow.
How would you? You know what? Never mind.
Do we really want to get into this?
No, I don't want to work out the semantics.
Later.
Yeah,
Later.
but
Do you guys want to jump into gaming news?
yeah, let's jump into game news.
Let's do that.
Sonic Forces, ladies and gentlemen. I should have had better graphics. I should have brought graphics, period. I did not. So the major consensus coming out of the woodwork for Sonic Forces is it's a good game. Now, people are divided between it's like, it was not bad, and this was actually pretty damn good. Not as good as Generations, and other people are sort of on the fence. So Sonic Forces does a mix of modern Sonic and 2D Sonic, just like Sonic
You're
Generations.
getting trolled in the comments. By
Classic Sonic and modern Sonic, as well as there are parts where it harkens back to the days of Sonic Heroes. You create your own persona. You create your own Sonic OC character, and there are parts where you team up with Sonic and go through like Sonic Hero missions, except instead of like 3, it's 2. The storyline is very similar to Sonic Sat AM. Were you familiar with that show back in the day?
No.
Okay, so in this one, okay.
Watching Kelly troll you is so funny right
For
now.
those not watching on Twitter right now, our show producer
Twitch.
Kelly, sorry, Twitch, our
Persona.
show producer
He
is
said
killing.
persona.
Yeah.
The word of today's episode is persona.
Brought to you by the letter F for Persona.
So I had a point, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I had a legitimate point.
Sonic Forces was good?
Sonic Forces is good.
You played it?
I've played through a couple of episodes. I haven't been able to play the full game, so I can't give a decent critique.
From
of
what
it.
you've been playing, what do you feel?
I feel that it's all right. The story is goofy. There's a lack of certain characters that aren't showing up. Like Silver the Hedgehog shows up, but you don't have Cream the Rabbit, and that sounded wrong. And
Is this a game I should let my son play?
What do the hedgehogs doing to each other?
All right.
moving on, ladies and gentlemen.
There's weird names here.
Creaming up? What?
So I hate you so much, Kelly. Super Mario Odyssey review.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good! At first I was like, I don't know.
Yo, it kills
Why
me 'cause,
is
like,
Bowser a pimp? And I'm playing it in the opening segments and I'm like, he's still a pimp.
Yeah.
Why is he a pimp?
Why is he not a pimp?
He's got Peach like this, and I'm like, oh, there's his hoe. And I'm waiting for Daisy to like be on like the leash, being pulled behind him. Didn't happen.
There is a small subset of the Mario fan base community that is just sitting there going, yeah, Peach is deliberately getting herself captured so that she doesn't have to deal with Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just like
What was the original the very first one that sort of brought that idea was Super Mario Sunshine, where they had Baby Bowser show up and they had this small little thing where it's like, yeah, Peach is my mom, and everyone else was like, what? And then Bowser's like,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Episode of Jerry Springer just
Yeah.
came to mind.
Pretty much.
Mario's there with Peach, and Peach is like, he's the father, he's the father. You see Bowser on the back of the screen, baby Bowser on the back screen. We've determined that you are not the father. Peach runs to the back. I swear, he was the dad. Oh man, Bowser just comes out in his little pimp outfit, just hey.
to the dopiest music ever. Do new new new. Do new new new.
Oh man.
but it's a great game. It plays amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a perfectionist, and I also like to hoard coins.
Oh, really?
So, yes, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to keep all the money as much as I can.
He's hoarding the coins for his comics.
But there's you actually have to use your currency in the game because you have to collect moons to travel across this. I don't know what the planet's called. I'm gonna say Mariotopia.
Okay.
I'm making it up as I go, and you actually have to buy outfits to be considered one of the people to be let in to do a puzzle to get one of the moons.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And I'm like, this was made just to spite me.
Oh. Once again, I haven't played I haven't sat down and legitimately played through an entire Super Mario game since I think the last one was literally Super Mario 64. Like, I did not pick up anything for the GameCube because I grabbed a PlayStation 2 at that time. Everyone else had a Wii. except when we finally did get it, my dad took control of the Wii, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm getting a PS3. So I haven't been able to actually keep up to date with any of the Mario franchise, and it's killing me because I really do want to play some of these games, and I just am not allowed the ability to.
It's honestly, for the Switch, there's a lack of variety in the actual market, and I don't
What?
feel
So yeah,
like...
we got a retro for the first time. I didn't like how open it was, though. It felt as though it felt it felt like it was find 150 coins in each level on Mario 64.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of accurate.
Yeah.
I can side with that. It's just as a fan of Mario, I liked it because it was kind of back to the roots. It's a little bit different. They tweaked it. I'm not that far into the game, but from what I've experienced, I really, really like it.
Sweet.
I like the narrative of, like, I don't remember what the name of the guy that goes into the hat is, but he's like a little ghost guy, and his sister is in Peach's crown. So he just wants to help Mario to get his sister back, and Mario just wants to get
I still
laid.
feel. It just connected. It's like I felt the ghost hat tiara thing was just sort of semi just for the sake of plot. If anything, they could have introduced that stuff without making it feel so needlessly tacked on. Like I don't know. Maybe is like the ghosts that were in the aliens that were in Sonic Colors didn't really feel forced and tacked on. They're just like, yeah, Robotnik's a dick. We want to help you. Sure, why not? No one wants to be indentured servitudes. I mean, prisoners with jobs.
Prisoners with jobs. It was awesome. I don't like that word. I don't like it. Prisoners with jobs. Okay,
that's
works.
better.
That's better. I like that. I like
We're
it.
gonna run it.
Actually, quick shout out as well. Retro for this first time. If you guys want to check out his stuff, he does a lot of old retro gaming on YouTube streaming. Good friend of mine from high school, Luis. He's been doing it for a little while now, actually. So if you get a chance, if you guys want to see a whole bunch of like old school gaming and everything as well too, check out his channel. It's exactly retro for the first time, all one word. Ba-bam. Moving on, though.
Ninja Turtles DLC for Injustice 2.
Oh, man.
I have not seen this trailer.
Oh, why?
Very well done.
I have
So
not,
good.
I have not seen this
So
trailer
good.
because I felt like I was in some sort of weird seizure, like some sort of weird coma that I woke up and it's like, yeah, we now have the Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2. Huh?
Like, it's honestly not that strange though, because there's a comic where Batman teams up with the Ninja Turtles.
Yep, I have it.
Yeah, I think you actually brought that one in.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
They're actually doing a second edition of the miniseries.
Which just out of an entire pantheon of characters in the DC universe, I was not expecting the Ninja Turtles. They were probably the last people that I would pick for this crossover. And now that I'm sitting there, I'm
No,
like,
they weren't.
I'm sitting there going, I don't know what is happening.
Matt, I can correct you on that. The last person you'd expect to see in that game is Condiment Man.
Conduit Man.
Condiment Man.
Condiment Man?
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
You see him fighting someone with a ketchup bottle?
I relish your anger.
I wouldn't be too surprised if he said shit like that. Oh, man.
Or the Calendar Man?
Calendar Man,
Calendar
yes.
Man.
Oh, wait, it's not Wednesday. I can't fight you today.
Yeah.
Sorry, Batman. I had a really... Sorry, speaking of Calendar Man, this is totally off topic, but I had a really good idea for the solo Batman movie that involved Calendar Man.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So, my plot was I want to see the more detective side of Batman, right? And there's these string of murders happening on certain days, certain holidays, is very specific to the dates. And having Batman have to track him down and actually use him, it's a, like, I wasn't even gonna say D-list supervillain, I'm gonna go like E.
Okay.
E-list. But it's just like, I just want to see Batman be a detective, and I thought that'd be a cool way to do it.
Any villain,
That would be good.
Any villain in the entire DC or Marvel pantheon can be made into a legitimately big deal. You just have to have the right circumstances and the right writers to boost that person up.
This is very true.
Like
the people who put Ninja Turtles into this awesome game, because that trailer, you need to watch it. Absolutely awesome. Adam comes flying out of an explosion to fight Enchantress, and then while they're about to go for a second shot, all you see is Raphael Sai come right between them and stop. And they're like, the hell? Raphael's in the end of the alleyway with a trench coat and everything, like an old Ninja Turtle movie. I was like, ah! Whew! And he's like, want to begin this fight? I was like, oh yeah! I'm excited to see the gameplay for these guys because like I have never played like something like this ever. I don't think I've always played beat 'em up games like where you take a Ninja Turtle and you're going around the city smashing.
Yeah, people love trying to get pizza.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Weird things in the sewer.
Yeah,
2D side-scrolling beat 'em up, very akin to the X-Men game.
Exactly. They released one back in, I want to say 2012, 2013. They released one for Xbox 360 and like it was all cross-platform. And the intro actually started off with the number, I want to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Power, Teenage, like that song, whatever. So it starts off with that, and you basically just build up your stats, you build up your weaponry and all that kind of jazz, yada, yada, yada. But it had a cool stealth mode to it. So you can actually be stealthy, go in like a real ninja, disarm people. It was really cool. But to see them in like an actual like fighting game, I want to see if they're going to be each character, or is it like a group of characters? You choose the turtles and they kind of jump in and out as like a team, and like their special attack move, it's like all four of them come in, they're like, ha!
Sorry. Considering what's going on with them, yeah, I think there would have to be an interchanging.
Would they just be
combat
different skins for the different characters?
Hear me out. So when it comes to Injustice, right? So you have like with Deadshot, you press like a back circle, and sorry, I play on PS4. Back circle, and that's like freeze bullets, and forward circle is like fire bullets. So what you would do is probably for like the superhero power, you can switch between the different Ninja Turtles and have like a different fighting style for each one on the fly. That would be a great way of doing it.
Yep.
So you're sitting there going, all right, I need to be more defensive. Let's switch to Donatello. Or it's like, I need something that'll put distance between me and my opponent. Let's switch to Leo. Or I need to cause damage. Let's switch to Raph. That would be a good way of being able to do it. I haven't seen their gameplay. I haven't seen how they're properly implemented. So it's all just speculation.
Yeah.
But that would be an interesting way of changing it up on the fly without making it overpowered.
Totally.
Also, sorry, I want to point out something to our viewers. They might not have noticed. AJ, you added something new to your excited dance.
What'd I do?
You just did like the Naruto run.
Yeah,
in your chair.
It's like
You did your arms back. You're like,
you did. Like that was part. Yeah.
I thought it was more like what was it? I feel like where's that dancer, that singer? She has that dance and she
The maniac
maniac
on the
just
floor.
did it. Or the Shaquille O'Neal.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we have anyone who's talented in Photoshop, we need a picture of AJ in a leotard. Make it happen.
thank you, internet.
Thank you, internet.
Hey.
And what's going on with Respawn
Right?
Entertainment?
Yeah.
EA?
So recently I found out this past Monday, which was mentioned to me by Jim Sterling as part of one of his little videos that he does before. But Respawn Entertainment, the makers of Titanfall and Titanfall 2, were bought for $400 million by Electronic Arts, and this is right after the closing of Visceral Games.
Damn.
Jim Sterling brought up the good point about how it feels like they pretty much closed Visceral in order to snatch up Respawn, and it's incredibly scary because once again it feels like Electronic Arts is a company that doesn't give a damn, will snatch up these small little companies, completely change how they make the fundamentals of a game, make some money off of it, and then cause that game development studio to close down and die. They've done it with Pandemic. They did it with Visceral. They've done it with all these different game companies. And for those that were playing Titanfall 2, Titanfall 2 was actually a legitimately good first-person shooter experience to me. And it was, wasn't it Xbox exclusive?
Yep.
It was an Xbox exclusive game. I was jealous that we didn't get our hands on it, but it was, when advertised, it's a game where it's like, you don't need a season pass for. Everything is available and is perfectly there. And it's just
What up, Dark? Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
yeah, and was unfortunate to see. You know that this is now happening to Titanfall. It could mean the end of it could mean the end of Respawn.
I know it would totally suck because like I really enjoyed the Titanfall campaign.
It was
I don't
fun.
know- Did you play it?
Yeah, but-
yeah, it was really good. It gave depth to a lot of the characters, to the machines even, which I really enjoyed. Right?
Yeah.
So
Well, like, there's
sucks.
a Titanfall aspect in Kingdom Hearts 3. Dun, dun, dun.
you will never, ever.
No, like, I'm serious. There's actually in the Toy Story level, Sora jumps into a mecha.
yeah, you're
Okay,
actually I saw that
literally
gameplay.
looks
Yeah.
like Titanfall. and I was like,
I'm not going to lie. When you
shit.
did that eye switch, it's just like, hey Matt, I know you're really enjoying this little back and forth conversation, but I totally want to chop your head off and stick it in my freezer. Like,
I have room.
Oh man.
you with your Paul Bernardo mountain man beard, like, keep no.
Do you want to taste the watermelon?
He said it in the perfect, deepest voice. That was awesome. All right, so on to anime.
Yes.
What are we reading? Should we talk about that?
Let's do that at the end.
Fine.
Alright.
Anime. So I have now hit the 2-year gap in One Piece, by the way. So I am extremely. Oh my goodness, this show is awesome. Like, there's a couple movies that are supposed to fall in the middle of that, which I just said, you know what, I'd rather just see Luffy train and then how he is stronger. And I like that little segment of like, because you don't know what happened during that time, and then he comes back and he just demolishes 2 of these robots in like seconds, and I was like, yes. So now he is like absolutely stronger than he was before. He knows how to use hockey, which is a weird type of ability.
Old hockey game. It was the best game you could play.
I'm just gonna go and Louis knows how to crash the boards.
All right.
Holy Mackinac!
What a forecheck!
Holy Mackinac, isn't that more for football?
Holy Mackinac, Tiger Cats.
Tiger Cats and Robin. Sorry, but I've heard it for hockey.
Yeah, no,
I have.
It's a relatively used term.
I'm trying to defend myself because I don't sport.
Me neither. So I just know from Tiger Cats, you know, just.
In another news, I won my fantasy football matchup this week. Sorry.
Hey!
Winner!
So jumping back into anime.
Yeah, jumping into anime. So like, I'm pretty happy with the way the series is going. Like, I didn't think I'd be really into it, but yeah. One Piece. If you guys are still humming and hawing about watching this show because of how many episodes there are, yeah, there's a lot of episodes. Like, they're running about 812, 813 at the moment. However, it is absolutely awesome. I'm just about 550 episodes in.
See, when AJ started the show, he was bald
Yep,
and he had no facial hair.
none.
Yep.
And this is the first time we've seen him in the light. Like, he comes out just to do the show.
Yep.
And like,
I'm almost as pale as Matt.
Thank you.
Well, he's pretty pale. Look at him. Right?
your tones don't look just
Yeah,
like-
yeah. Look on camera.
And in other news,
Yeah, going on as well that I'm enjoying. Black Clover. It's a new series I just started watching. We're about 2 episodes in. Like I said, I love watching shows with my son because he absolutely loves anime just as much as I do. So bless his soul. We just finished watching the first couple episodes for Black Clover. Very much like My Hero Academia. A little more screamy. The main character screams a lot.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
we're gonna fight forever.
Yeah, he's always like, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be the king.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah. No, it's just
We're gonna duel.
right.
I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Oh, going into other news,
Yes.
Goku has hit his Ultra Instinct mode yet again. Amongst fighting 2 of the female Saiyans of the universe, I think it was Universe 6 he was fighting, they ended up using, you know, that back in like Dragon Ball Z days when they had those little earrings
Yes.
that brought Vegetto together?
Yep.
They do that too. So it's
Complaint. Have a complaint.
No, it's it's Kafla. No, man.
I have a
It's not
complaint.
Kali Kale. It's something else. It's like
I have something to point out.
I think it's Kafla.
I have something to point out about Dragon Ball Super.
What?
I thought they weren't allowed to bring any like physical items into the tournament.
See, that's what I was thinking about too. So they haven't touched upon that because I guess it's
Cheating.
anything. No, I think it's anything that can regenerate them. Right, so like sensu beans, they can't bring sensu beans in them because that would reboost their stamina.
I would bring Future Trunks with his sword then.
But you see, and that's the thing. It looks like there are people there that, like machines, for example, they're machines. They're all metal. So I guess a sword would technically be okay, right? So there's still some like kind of that I'm not sure about. But Kafla, which is the merge of
Cauliflower and
and then
confetti?
kale, cauliflower and kale kale.
Collie
Right.
kale?
No, it's not. It's not collie kale. It's actually
Kalima.
Kefla. That's it. Kefla. That's the actual word. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, they ended up fusing together, and Goku has to go from Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. So he actually goes through all the Saiyan modes.
That was all
while he's
the
fighting.
episode. That was the whole episode. He just sat there powering up.
No, he actually fought them through each of his powers. So it was really cool. Throughout the last 2 episodes,
So he went full Frieza.
basically, in a sense, yeah, he took his time, but he was taking the beatings to regain his stamina to continue to go up each level. And nobody realized that. They're like, oh, whoa, they can beat him, till finally he was just like, he gets knocked out by a nice, beautiful green blast from Kefla. Yeah, he just wakes up and he's like, Ultra Instinct mode again, hi.
So, I do want to point out, because every single time AJ talks about anime, I do feel, as the resident anime guy who reviews anime, it is important to point out there are plenty of anime out there, such as Dragon Ball Super, such as Black Clover, such as, all the mainstream stuff. But if you are having a hard time getting into mainstream anime, sometimes the best thing that you can do is taking a jump off the beaten path and finding something that might be right for you. There's a huge amount of genres of different shows, all with various different points and tones that they can do. Currently speaking, I'm watching Jormungand, which is a sort of an offshoot of Black Lagoon, which is very action focused, which I am starting to really enjoy. I enjoyed the manga. Detroit Metal City, which is the weirdest slice of acid ever on an anime screen, to the point where a man is having sex with Tokyo Tower, and as well as Future Diary, which is, as a manga, was absolutely fantastic. I'm jumping back into the fray with that, and I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm seeing for the time being, but I don't know how it's going to unfold as it's coming down. But what I'm trying to say is, sometimes if you want to get into anime, you haven't found a reason yet, I would recommend jumping off the beaten path and taking a look at something that might not be mainstream, but might be good for you.
Well, speaking of off the beaten path, actually, Retro for the first time has just suggested a show called Another. Since you like jumping off the beaten path and watching all that. So there's another one right there, right?
Friend.
So there's that. And really, dude, you haven't watched any anime? That's a lie. You probably watched Sailor Moon at some point in your time in your life. Pokemon is an anime. Yu-Gi-Oh is an anime. Naruto, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Afro Samurai,
Eureka 7.
yeah, Eureka 7,
Bayonetta.
right? So like, there's Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? I'm sure at some
Debatable.
point in time you have watched an episode of anime of something that you just didn't realize was an anime, because that's what happened to me when I was growing up. So,
Okay.
all right, so
this is a very heavy topic.
and
we're about
before
to
we
jump into
continue, it is a very sensitive topic. This is just us speaking on what's happening. All right, guys, and our views on it. Don't destroy us.
Well, it is a hot button issue. It is something that we know fully well, but if we do not talk about it,
We gotta-
we're
what are we not
officially
covering?
Well,
Right?
yeah, if we do that, then we've instantly taken a moral stance on our stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is not the time to draw a line in the sand.
Of course.
For sure, I strongly agree.
So, in regards to the ongoing Hollywood scandals that are unfolding, primarily the reason why we're jumping into this is, if you've followed on our Facebook, what I've gotten in the habit of is posting ideas for future stories. One of the things that I did want to talk about was talking about Kevin Spacey's. They're writing him off of the final season of House of Cards, and in doing so, Netflix is sort of scrambling to find other people, but it's not just Kevin Spacey who's being held up in these allegations of sexual misconduct and basically dealing with this. Like, the people like Angelina Jolie have stepped forward. Olivia Munn, who is one of my favorite on-air talents, one of the people that got me into games journalism. She was involved in it. It is so ridiculously disappointing to find out stories about Brett Radner, of Louis C.K., and the fact that all these talented individuals are basically getting sexually abused, are dealing with this. And I feel that as a member of the public, this is not all right. Women and men should not go through this. And regardless of what goes on, we must band together, we must unite and say, as a vast majority, as a unified voice, that it is not okay.
No, it's
and
not at all.
to women that are worried about this, we stand with you. And especially to, as well, the males that were involved as well.
Yeah, it sucks on both sides because you have these. Okay, so I'm gonna sit in the neutral side on both sides in this scenario because you have all these actors who are hurt and everything as well too. You have these producers and stuff that have been going through this all of a sudden that they've been doing this for so long, getting away with it for so long, and in the part of their career where they weren't really that big was when they started doing a lot of these things, right? Like Kevin Spacey, a lot of his allegations came from a lot of things happening in the 80s, where he was known, but not as known as he is now. He's had tons of accolades under his belt over the last 10 years, last decade, right? Tons of Emmys, tons of probably a few Golden Globes, whatever be the case, right? Oscars, all that kind of stuff, right? He has enough accolades on his belt now that he is so known that something that people just love to watch is going to be ruined now because of something that he just couldn't stop doing. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of actors.
Here's the thing, though. It's Kevin Spacey being left from House of Cards. House of Cards will forever be ruined. The House of Cards has fallen on top of itself.
Yeah.
But the reason being is that, once again, Kevin Spacey was perfect for the casting of Frank Underwood, but as a result of this, it is all his fault.
And I get that. That's what I'm saying.
It permanently taints the image of how you view someone.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that we see all these things, right? The producer of Flash and Arrow now, it's
Yeah, no, he's
dude,
doing some
really?
things.
Come on.
He's suspended. He's no longer allowed to be anywhere near the production of any of the shows.
Yeah.
It's a lot of so I want to go back in time. I was a huge wrestling fan throughout the 90s to early 2000s. And two events happened in World Wrestling that prevented me from getting involved and getting from preventing me from from staying on, and that was the death of Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Primarily Chris Benoit because because of all the head injuries that he sustained, he ended up killing his wife and his son before eventually killing himself. And it doesn't matter the legacy that they had, that they did good quality work, but it will forever be tainted by the horrible action in the aftermath.
They say that you'll never remember a person for the 1,000 wins they have. It's that one loss that you'll always forever remember them for.
Yeah.
Right? So it's exactly that, because that's something you look at and you're growing up. You're like, this guy was a hero to me. And then you hear that he did this and you're like, I don't know if I can respect him anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's funny too, with everything that's been coming out? Tom Hardy 3 years ago actually came out and was there are real casting couches.
Yeah.
This exists in Hollywood, and everyone just brushed him off.
Yeah.
He tried to bring, I'm not saying Tom Hardy was a hero. I'm saying he tried to bring light to the situation and show people what's going on, and we ignored it.
Yeah.
As a general population, we ignored it.
Well, it's because we don't, when it comes to, unfortunately, here's the thing, when it comes to how sexual misconduct and all this stuff is, everyone just sort of shrugs their shoulders and goes, it's Hollywood, that's almost to be expected. And it's no! This is not okay.
Right. They have basic human rights. No matter, everyone has them, no matter what their social class is, the color of their skin,
what they do for a career. There is no means no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this power dynamic that is for example, Louis C.K., which is the biggest one in the news.
Yeah.
Before even being the huge smash hit stand-up comic that he wrote for a lot of successful TV shows. So there was always that power dynamic. And there had been talks about Louis C.K. as far back as 5 years.
Yeah.
And he's finally now coming forward and acknowledging, saying, I have a problem. But it's this has been going on for over half a decade.
Okay, but in his defense,
In his defense.
Yeah, but listen. In his defense, a lot of these other people, for like Kevin Spacey, Brett Ratner, a lot of the other people didn't have. They were forcing these actors, right, or these other
Like, I wouldn't say forcing. It was just. Did you hear the Olivia Munn Brett Ratner story?
Yeah, and I'm just saying,
With
like,
him walking or her bringing something to his trailer, and he's sitting there, shaft in hand, with a shrimp cocktail, and she walks in, finishing in her direction,
oh my god,
and then saying, "Oh, well, thanks for helping."
yeah.
Like,
But like, okay, I get that. That's bad. That's very
Yeah.
bad. But when you have permission, it's a different story now. Like the only difference is he didn't have it in writing. Imagine if he had it in writing. Sign here. You have permission I have permission to do any type of misconduct with my body without you touching. In here,
It still
You're
doesn't-
okay.
It still does not change the fact that this entire thing has been swept under the rug. Now it's coming to light, and it's regardless of what decade you were. So with Harvey Weinstein's defense of I was born in the 70s and 80s, that's bollocks. You don't do that.
it's like saying, "Well, murder wasn't illegal when I was born."
Yeah,
It's still a law.
yeah.
I was gonna add an F-bomb in there like, to add to my point, but no, it's
We're a family show. This is hard-hitting journalism.
yes,
Like-
it's pretty bad regardless. It's like, but it's so
then
bad.
Ben Affleck's come forward and said that every movie or every residual check he receives from Harvey Weinstein, he's gonna donate to charity. Good on him.
Good.
Ben Affleck's been in the press for some pretty shady stuff as well lately, and I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard of Ben Affleck's stuff. I don't know if it's his means of saving face, because the thing is that when you see someone in the entertainment industry and like I've met people that were in YouTube, like the Toronto YouTube community is very close knit, and I've always been an indie guy, but I occasionally do get invited to talk to people that have those big followings, and I sit down and I have conversations, and I'm like, some of these people, they're great when the camera's on, but the moment the camera is off, they're completely different animals. They are people that, to be brutally honest, I became friends with, and after becoming friends with them, I'm like, I can't be friends with someone like this. I need to, like, I'm sorry, it was a pleasure knowing you. I can't. But I wish you well, and I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah,
I just can't.
yeah.
So the same, like with Ben Affleck, I do not know if he's a legitimately good guy, because once again, I don't know him. I just know him by his on-screen acting portrayals. So
And even Jason Momoa said something. He didn't do anything wrong, but he took some heat for it as well. I don't know if you heard what he said. He said, "I miss being on Game of Thrones because I miss raping beautiful women." People are like,
Wording.
I think
Wording.
he said, he said that on wasn't it Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con at a panel?
yeah.
He said it in jest, but at the same time,
You
it's
can't
cringe.
joke about that.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now it's definitely not something
Like-
you can joke about for sure.
It's just
It's not even a simple case of political correctness. There is a time and a legitimate place for certain subject matter, and right now in the midst of all of this, you don't do it. You don't go out on September 12th and then start making 9/11 jokes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You have to have a time where you jump out of it, or at least do it in such a way where it's bringing light to the issue rather than just making fun of the horrible atrocity that's going down.
Yeah.
and it's sad, and it's to the point too. Gal Gadot, who is symbolic as Wonder Woman,
Hugely
now.
symbolic right
Like
now.
if you think of Wonder Woman, you think of Linda
Gal
Carter, and you think of Gal Gadot.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought Gal Gadot was-
You ruined my moment.
Yeah, Linda Carter, but Gal Gadot.
Yeah, and she's coming forward now, and she says that she doesn't. She's threatening Warner Brothers. She says, if Brett Ratner is involved with any production of any DC film, I will not be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's a big statement and a big, something to put on a studio, being like, we lose this amazing talent, or we fire this scumbag.
Yeah.
But another thing is, though, he financed the majority of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So it's like, Gal Gadot wouldn't be there if it wasn't for him.
Yep.
But it still doesn't make what he did right.
I know what's wrong is still wrong at the end of the day, right? Now let's flip the side a little bit here. There's actually something I was just thinking about, right? So we have all these people who are coming out with allegations and stuff like that, and saying the victims and such, right? What about those people now that we've weaponized this thing?
What do you mean?
So now that they've weaponized this a lot more now, I'm going to say
They're
this.
just going to say it so they can get attention?
Thank
Is that
you.
what you mean?
There's going to be a lot of people that will do that.
Yes.
Especially in Hollywood. Because now it's going to make such a huge stress. Okay, yes, we got to bring light to it regardless, and that's understandable, and I respect that. I'm not going to say that.
But people shouldn't use it to
Thank you.
to motivate their careers or make
Yes.
false accusations.
Yes.
Here's the legitimate thing, because let's take a completely different example. Like, say for example, people that are making false allegations of rape or police brutality and things like that. Every single false flag that gets detected completely hurts. And
The person who needs it.
Yeah, the person who legitimately needs it. There will be people that unfortunately are sociopaths that will break the chain of command, and hopefully
Kardashians.
Hopefully we will be able to find it, and sometimes we can't, unfortunately, because we don't have anything that disproves it. And once again, when you get the media involved and you basically
And you can't be like, no, he didn't do that. Like, who
Yeah.
are you to tell them that didn't happen?
Yeah. And that's going to be the hardest part right now, is now that everything's been brought to light a lot more, there's going to be tons of people who are going to use this as a weapon.
there will legitimately be, but until this time eventually does happen, I can't look away. I cannot.
We see it everywhere.
Yeah, if it comes out that they are that they lied, then yeah, I'm going to be legitimately hurt and offended. But at the same time, you have to go each individual way, because it doesn't change the fact that there are people out there that this is happening to, and this is not okay.
Yeah.
Same goes for people that are being brutalized by police, or being racially profiled, or being harassed because of their sexual identity, their gender, their skin color, their faith. Hell, what sports team they like,
Well, depending in England, that could be a big problem.
I heard stories.
You want to do something ballsy? Show up to a Yankees game wearing a Boston Red Sox jersey.
Actually, funny story, and we can bring this to Trevor, because Trevor almost actually got into a fight at a Bills game, from what he was telling me.
Yeah, people, it's to the point. Like, I heard I don't want to talk about my situation because I'll go on a rant. But the guy's probably out there watching.
I'm going to bring it back home, because once again, I got off on a tangent.
Yes, you did.
The point of the fact of the matter is that I am always for innocent until proven guilty, but at the same time, I cannot look away from each claim that comes through. I cannot say that one claim is better than the other. It's not right. You have to pick a side. You have to pick a line in the sand and say what you want to stand for, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything.
Yeah. It's true. Very true.
Sorry, and that's how I wanted to end this.
You saw his very stoic face at the end of that right there. He paused for effect, because we all believe in that. In all honesty, no jokes aside, it's still a wrong, regardless of what it does to us. It's just, can you stop? Vet your people properly, please. If you can go through a better vetting process, we can actually enjoy the shows we want without having to worry about crap like this. Because us, the fans, we greatly get affected of it just as much for you doing your stupidness, you actors. Come on. Get permission, sign down the dotted line before, not on duress. Just come on. Come on.
Just be so decent, good human being.
Yeah, don't touch nobody.
Yeah.
Come on, keep your hands to yourself. We learned that in elementary school. We learned that in kindergarten, damn it.
Tell me no lies and keep your hands to yourself.
Right?
But on that dour expression, unfortunately, we had to end it after we dropped Hiroshima. But
Right?
I think it's time that we get to the advertising and end portion of the show. I would like to say that we are available live on the various things. We are available on Twitter, under Instagram, under Facebook, under YouTube. This is broadcast live on Twitch. Join us on Twitch. Trust me, we love it when the fans end up basically stealing the show out from under us. It is freaking tastic, because we get to have a back and forth. and it's not just us talking in post. You guys
Conversation.
you guys make the show. You guys are what keeps us going.
And what makes us laugh is when Kelly trolls.
Yeah, and Kelly legitimately has been trolling me nonstop.
Yep.
Please excuse me while I go home and delete my internet history, ladies and gentlemen. I love you too, Kelly.
I want to give a shout out to Dark Apocalypse 88 for tuning in. Retro for the first time. Thank you very much for your input, man. Really appreciate it.
And everybody else who is lurking in the background, we see you on Facebook. We know.
Thank you. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.
Yes, like and subscribe.
And one last thing, because I forgot to do my own advertisement. I am Sonic MTD. I am available on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter under the name capital S, small O, small N, small I, small C, capital M, capital T, capital D. And the next video for Always Right Reviews is going to be insane. I am working.
Is it what I've been waiting for?
It is not what you've been waiting for.
What's this? Oh, I feel like this is like simple and clear.
Simple and clean.
Oh, my bad. You see,
You can't make jokes because you haven't played it.
I was trying to get you to help me.
Shut up.
I was setting up for an alley-oop.
No.
You just didn't slam it. You missed the pass.
No.
Finished my sentence.
No. Like everyone in Hollywood, I say no.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Next week, guys, we're talking about Justice League. Just letting you know if you haven't checked it, listened to us talk about it earlier. We are bringing that home next week. And Trevor is not going to be on a bye week. He's coming back next week for that too.
I know.
All right? We're going to put his name on the screen next time too.
I'm gonna be
because
back
he's
for-
actually going to be back.
Yeah.
What up? Yeah. Woo! All right. So on that note, we out.
Later days.
Thank you very much, guys, for checking out this awesome issue of Nerds Unlimited. If you guys want to check out our last show, it'll be up here. If you want to subscribe, click that link right there. And then, if you want to see what this beautiful bastard's up to lately, right over here. But better yet, if you want to see us every Thursday, 7:30, the link will be right here.